Now, what is happening for the past 1 year especially? There are words like elections and defections, splits and mergers, loyalists and traitors, the ECI, the Supreme Court, the ED. I have gone crazy. I can't understand what is happening around. But however, what I fairly understand is about how the elections are held, how the electoral rolls are managed. People can join, people can leave. So it is continuously updated. Relocation and duplicate records or the repeated records are very, very common problem. So today let us discuss the process of electoral roll maintenance. What is happening for the past 1 year especially? The news channels are ever, they have gone crazy or they made us crazy. Whether they have gone crazy or not, I do not know. There are words like elections and defections, splits and mergers, loyalists and traitors, the ECI, the Supreme Court, the ED. I have gone crazy. I can't understand what is happening around. But however, what I fairly understand because of my work for the past close to 2 decades is about how the elections are held, how the electoral rolls are managed, and how it is very, very critical for us to understand it and participate in making sure it is kept sane, complete, and reliable. So today let us discuss the process of electoral roll maintenance. In general, this system is called Electoral Roll Management System or ERMS. Now in the country, we have got some elections which are following the universal franchise. Means every individual who is a citizen of India is eligible to participate in those elections. There are only 3 of them, the parliamentary elections, only for Lok Sabha, not for Rajya Sabha, which is called the general elections. When you say general elections, it means the whole country is participating to elect the members for the Lok Sabha. There is the general elections held in once in 5 years, as we all know, by participating or by reading. Then we have got the state assembly elections. They are called assembly elections against the general elections. Every individual in the state who is enrolled in the electoral rolls are eligible to vote. No educational qualification, no caste, creed, sex, no distinction. And also for the local bodies, like the municipal corporations, town panchayats, village panchayats, etc., it is again universal franchise. Everyone who is within the boundary of that village or that city, they are eligible to vote. But eligible to vote provided we are registered as voters. Now, all the people who register as voters, they get into a common database at the country level. This change of centralizing the database has happened in 2017 only. Till then, everything was fragmented at the local level, lot of confusion, no common system, no way of understanding whether they are registered in one place, not in another place. It was more difficult. Now, fortunately for all of us, for 9 years, everything is centralized and fairly well. Let us appreciate that. So the centralized electoral database is maintained by the Election Commission of India. So if your name is not in this centralized database, then you cannot participate in 3 different levels of elections, the Lok Sabha, our assembly constituency, and also the local bodies. Now, one is the electoral database, but the database itself is not visible to you and me, not visible to the political parties. It is seen only by the maintainers of the database, or election commission officials will have some access to that. What is visible to us are electoral rolls, a document which is published by the Election Commission of India and also the State Election Commissioner. Now, what is this difference between the Election Commission and State Election Commissioner? Election Commission of India is responsible for holding important elections like President of the country, the Rajya Sabha. But mainly what affects you and me, the common citizens, are the elections for Lok Sabha and elections for the State Assembly. The elections for the local body are held by the state election commissioner. The ECI or the center has got no role to play in that. And the state election commission comes under the state government. It doesn't have anything to do with the ECI. ECI has got no power over them. But how they're connected is only through data. The state election commission does not maintain its own data for the electors, for the local body elections. What they do is they take a dump, they take a sample, or they take the state of the database, which is centrally held. And then they make their own electoral rolls. Though the way of making the electoral roll may vary, the format can mildly change, the distribution, the geographical boundaries are different. Still, the core of it, the data that has gone in to these documents is derived from the common electoral database. Now, let us say this database is dynamic. People can join, people can leave. So it is continuously updated, not the State Election Commission. It doesn't maintain any database. The Election Commission of India continuously updates the database it maintains. Maintenance means, updation means mainly three things. Add new registrations. New registrations happen when somebody comes of voting age or registers, even if an old person has never registered earlier, can register. It is not that, oh, I did not register when I was 18, now I cannot register. No. Like I say, for driving license, you should be 18, but it doesn't mean that at the age of 85, you cannot get a new driving license. So you can join the electoral roll anytime. So that is adding new voters. Also, you may have to add a new electoral roll, though the name is in the database, but you have moved. Like Trishan's told me a while ago that he has moved to Gujarat now from Hyderabad. Now, being a conscientious citizen, he would like to participate in the election there and get his name removed from Hyderabad. So that means he has to add his name in a new constituency. There is no separate thing for the relocation. Relocation means add the name. And in the form, there is a column which helps us to tell where you were registered earlier. Now, deleting your name from the old constitution, old part, is the duty of the organization, not your duty. You cannot get it deleted directly. You can, there is a form, but there is no needed. What is needed is to mention very clearly in the form 6, it is called, when you want to add as a new elector, given the details of your previous registration, it will get deleted, or it's supposed to be deleted. I don't say it will get deleted. We will see why it is so. The next one is the deletion. One is somebody dies. Relocation. You're relocated. You're not in the place. You're not in the current address which is mentioned there. Very common issue. Duplicate records. So you got registered in place 1, place 2, place 3. Or disqualification. Some kinds of crimes or mentally unfit to participate in elections. These are called disqualification. Very rarely used. I'm not seeing many cases of disqualification. But relocation and duplicate records or the repeated records are very, very common problem. Next is modification. The modification means modifications to your record. There is a small difference. You can change your address if you are within the same constituency using the modification. But if you change the constituency, you have to add a new. You may have to change your name. You may have to change your age. Any details that you need to add. It's very common. My neighbor, his daughter's record shows him as her husband. Now he has to get it correct. Small little thing. I can give you hundreds of unfortunate, silly examples which still live in the electoral rolls. So because of this churn, addition, deletion, and modifications, there are 3 forms: Form 6, Form 7, Form 8 to do these things. And we can do it all online. Fortunately, for the past about 10 years, it is working well. Before that, this update by the voter, by the citizen, was not convenient at all. We did it manually, a long process, inconvenient process. Now it has become fairly reliable. There is a site called voters.eci.gov for government.in. Or even if you look for NVSP, National Voters Services Portal, that is the old name. We used to have a site called nvsp.in. Now it is changed into voters.eci.gov.in. Then we get these forms to fill in, attaching various proofs, maybe your Aadhaar card, mostly. That is sufficient if you have one. And a lot of information that you have to give, some information which are voluntary, like your phone number, Aadhaar number. You may give if you like. If you don't have to give, it is okay. It is acceptable. And in addition to these Form 6, 7, and 8, adding, deleting, and updating. You get a lot many services from the port. It is good to visit once a while. You can download various forms. You can download the electoral rolls. You can download the latest policy letters, things like that. To be a conscientious citizen, it is good to know what is our government doing, not the government, what is the election commission doing, because the election commission does not come under the government. It's a constitutional body. So there is an entropy that sets in because of the movement of people, because of the death of people, because of the errors in the database, which gets updated. Because of that, the database changes. And what election commission does is twice a year minimum, there is no maximum limit, but twice a year in the month of January sometimes. The actual date given is 25th January, but it could be slightly up and down. They publish something called Special Summary Revision. SSR. We would have heard this term quite often. As of that day, whomsoever is in the electoral roll of that particular part, what is this part? It is a booth. Like in your booth, 99% of the cases or 99.9% of the cases, one booth maps into one part. So this electoral document which I mentioned are divided booth-wise. So you have to just know your booth number, or you can even find out, not very difficult, because the address will be there, your assembly constituency, and within that, the address will be there, and you will be able to find out. Not very difficult. So in that, whatever voters are found in the electoral roll, in the central electoral roll, those names are available in the document, which are published. So anybody in the world having an access to the internet can download it, read it, find out whatever it is. It's a periodic snapshot, the state of the database as of that day. It doesn't mean that it is continuously synchronized with the database, because database is updated daily, hourly, every minute. But we get a snapshot of it as of that day. So we can check up if there is any change that we need to have in the electoral roll, like editing the information that you have got. Your age is wrongly mentioned as 36 instead of 63 or vice versa, or the relative's name is not proper. Whatever editing that you need to do, you can do that. If a name is not found, you can add your name. That is called claim. It is a claim. The term used by the ECI is that it's a claim. You can object claims and objections to the term, the phrase that is used by the ECI. You can say somebody is dead, somebody is shifted. This person is no more living here. Either physically has moved out or the person is no more, unfortunate. So that is called the objection. You can object for the name to be the electoral roll, only a family member. I cannot go and kill anybody in the neighborhood and tell, okay, no, delete him. Only a family member can say some record has to be deleted for the reason. So these are the things which are carried out by the special summary revision. Otherwise, the Form 6, Form 7, Form 8, we can fill in any time except a small period of maintenance, maybe 1 or 2 months in a year. Otherwise, it is open throughout the year. So if the special summary revision is done meticulously, if the citizens are conscious of their duty, the authorities do it meticulously, then the electoral record should be updated and current continuously, but that doesn't happen. To make sure that time to time it is corrected, we got a special intensive revision. There is a big buzz that is going around now. Whole lot of objections, vote chori, kam chori, whatever it is, it's all being spread around without understanding what actually it is. Several political parties, they don't understand what is SIR. Even the department, the people who are employed for these jobs, when I talk to them, sometimes they are not clear what is the meaning of SIR, why it is conducted, no idea. It is a bhutaya. So the last special intensive revision was done in 2002. 2002 to 2026 now, over these 24 years, a lot of entropy has set in. We'll go through some examples later. Unless it is corrected, the electoral roll will remain dirty. We can have a small analogy. So I got a small headache. I got fever. My stomach is upset, whatever it is. I visit the doctor on my own. Doctor is not calling me. He doesn't find out who is sick, which of his permanent patients. There is nothing like a permanent patient now, fortunately, here. So it is up to me to visit the doctor when I want. Doctor doesn't call me. Whereas some of us go for a complete checkup, complete screening. I don't have any problem, but I just want to see screening of my blood, urine, thyroid, a whole lot of things. Some 100 odd tests are there. They're being sold by ThyroCare, 1mg, whatever it is. A lot of advertisement for that to get it checked. So what we can do, okay, day to day, I don't see what is my B12, what is my D3. Once a year, once in 2 years, it is good to have a check. So here, the check is done without seeing any symptom. The check is done to make sure that everything is okay. Should there be a need, I can correct it by some supplements, by some medicine, by some exercises, by some lifestyle changes, so that I get back to the full health. So the special intensive revision is something like the total checkup of the health, checking various parameters and making sure everything is fine. If things are fine, it is fine. If there is a problem, then we can correct it. So the main difference is that in the case of the special summary revision, we push the system telling it, okay, I change. My name is not found in the latest electoral roll. I want it to be included. I shifted my residence. My address is still the old one. I changed my constituency. There is one transaction, one deletion, and one insertion need to be done. So the push comes from us now. In case of special intensive revision, it is a pull from the organization. The people from the ECR, the BLO level we have been hearing a lot, they will come and visit us with an enumeration form telling them, okay, this is the data that we have got in the electoral roll, in the database. Is it true or not? I want to cross check. If you're not able to prove it, your record will be deleted. There is a cleansing activity that will happen. So this is push and pull. So now we are talking more about SIR because it is happening after 24 years and we need to understand.